You are standing in a dealership. The car in front of you smells like fresh leather and new possibility. The salesperson smiles. The monthly payment sounds manageable. And everything, absolutely everything, looks perfect. But 3 years from now, that same car will cost you more to fix than you ever imagined. And the people who built it, they already knew that was going to happen. So here is the question that nobody in that showroom will ever ask you. What if your new car was never meant to last? For most of the 20th century, a car was built to last. Mechanics could fix them with basic tools. Engines ran for 200,000 miles without drama. And when something broke, the parts were simple, cheap, and available at every corner shop. That was the deal between the manufacturer and the buyer. You pay once, we build it right. That deal is no longer in place. Over the last 2 decades, the automotive industry has quietly shifted its business model in a direction that benefits manufacturers far more than the people who buy their vehicles. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is a documented, measurable, ongoing economic trend, and it is affecting tens of millions of families right now. The story begins not in a factory, but in a boardroom. In 1965, American economist Victor Lebow published a paper arguing that the entire American economy required consumers to keep buying new things. He wrote that we need things consumed, burned up, replaced, and discarded at an ever-increasing rate. While Lebow was describing retail goods broadly, automotive executives were paying very close attention. Through the 1960s and 1970s, American manufacturers began experimenting with what engineers quietly called design life targets. Instead of building a component to last as long as possible, engineers were given a target number. Build this part to last exactly this long, no longer. The practice was not new. Light bulb manufacturers had done it since the 1920s, but applying it to a machine that families depended on for safety and transportation was a different thing entirely. By the 1980s, Japanese manufacturers like Toyota and Honda had entered the American market with a completely different philosophy. Their cars were simple, reliable, and long-lasting. American buyers noticed immediately. Toyota's market share in the United States climbed from under 5% in 1975 to over 20% by 1995. The American auto industry was forced to respond, but instead of matching Japanese reliability standards, many American manufacturers made a different calculation. They began adding complexity, more electronics, more software, more components that required specialist tools and dealer-only diagnostics to repair. The result was a car that felt more advanced, but was fundamentally harder and more expensive to maintain. The 2008 financial crisis accelerated everything. With profits under pressure, manufacturers across the industry began cutting material costs in ways that were invisible to the buyer at the point of sale. Thinner metals, cheaper plastics, seals and gaskets rated for fewer heat cycles. None of this appeared in the brochure. By 2015, the average American household was spending over $1,000 per year on vehicle repairs, a figure that had increased 19% in just 1 decade. And yet, the price of a new vehicle kept climbing, past $30,000, past $35,000, past $40,000 for the first time in American history. Think about that for a moment. Americans were paying more money for cars that needed more repairs more often than ever before. So how did we get here? Who made these decisions? And more importantly, is anyone being held accountable? That is exactly what we are going to find out. In part 2, we go inside the boardrooms. We look at the documents. We hear from the mechanics, the engineers, and the families who paid the price. If you want to know the full story, subscribe right now. Part 2 drops this Friday, and trust me, what comes next is worse than you think.